please, Martin? No, thank you. I'm watching my diet.
What's that?
Oh, sorry.
I thought that was a jab at
A little bit,
I said, oh, we must have had lunch today or yesterday.
Good evening. Welcome to the City of West Miami. Today is our regular commission meeting of Wednesday, December the 5th, 2018 at 7:30. Do we have somebody for the invocation? Chief, can you help us with the invocation?
Yes, sir.
Please, sir, stand up.
Almighty God in heaven, thank you for allowing us to gather here tonight. Guide and enlighten us all to make the right decisions and bring us closer to you each day. Help and comfort those less fortunate than ourselves, especially in the approaching Christmas season. We thank you for the life and service of President George H.W. Bush and ask you admit him into your kingdom in heaven. Give spiritual support and console his family during this, their time of loss. Bless and protect our police officers, firefighters, and military personnel as they serve and protect us each and every day. May we all have a safe and enjoyable holiday season in the presence of our family and friends. We ask all this, dear Lord, in your most holy name, and say amen.
Amen. Captain Legado for the pledge, please.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Let's be seated. Roll call, please.
Roll call, Mayor Eduardo Mujina,
Present.
Vice Mayor Rhonda Rodriguez,
Present.
Commissioner Candida Blanca, Commissioner Juan Blanes, Commissioner Luciano Suarez.
Yes.
Mayor, you have a quorum.
Yes. Thank you. Item 4.
Item 4, presentation of minutes for approval for November 7th, 2018, regular City Commission meeting.
Motion.
Second. Okay, all in favor say aye. Aye.
Thank you.
Motion passes. Madam Clerk, before we go into the next items, any items that we should take out of order?
Yes, Mayor, if you wish, we could take 11A under new business,
A
Okay.
and B.
A and B, actually.
Okay, can you
Yes.
read it into the record, please?
Yes, Mr. Mayor. Item 11 under new business agenda items, item 11A, request for mitigation of code enforcement liens for code violations at 6400 Southwest 16 Terrace, West Miami, Florida, and owners Julio Pastoriza, Elena P. Pastoriza, and Mayra Pastoriza Saldivar. Item B is the resolution of the mayor and city commission of the city of West Miami authorizing the city manager to accept a mitigation offer in the amount of blank from Julio Pastoriza, Elena Pastoriza, and Mayra Pastoriza Saldivar on code enforcement liens for code violations at the property located at 6400 Southwest 16 Terrace, West Miami, Florida, providing that if payment in full is not paid by blank, then the amount owed shall revert to the original amount, providing for effective date, mayor and city commission.
Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, may I make a statement, please?
Yes, please.
I had to make a disclosure. Mr. Pastoriza was my business law professor about 45 years ago.
How many years?
45.
Congratulations.
You were 10.
That's it?
You sure? You sure? I believe from him, but
And I promise that I'm not going to be as hard as he was with him as he was with me.
Those
Mr.
students
Mayor,
always
this is
come
a,
back.
well, go ahead.
Mr. Pastoriza, to the podium, please.
This will be, regardless of my association with Mr. Pastoriza, who I have not seen for quite a while. This is an extraordinary case that usually we want people to comply with code enforcement. In this particular case, Mr. Pastoriza will tell you about his plight, but surely it was not something that was his doing or something that he could have prevented. Okay?
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. My name is Julio Pastoriza. This is my sister, Mayra Pastoriza Saldivar. And I have another sister who also is an owner of this house, and she couldn't be here today.
And he's an attorney at law, so he can represent himself.
Now, we got this house when our uncle died.
I'm sorry. We need also the address for the record.
Oh, excuse me, 6400 Southwest 16th Terrace, Miami, Florida.
Okay, thank you.
We have never lived in this house. We got this house when our uncle died. His wife had died in 14, and he passed away in 16. We never have lived in this house. Sometime after our uncle died, and after we, cleaned up the place, and we put it out and rented it to what I would call the tenant from hell. We wound up evicting him. It took me 4 months because the court process is not as fast as it should be. We finally got the sheriff to serve the writ of possession on July, I think, 8th or 9th of this year. We started that process in March. The guy stiffed us for 4 months. We found out that there were a number of violations. There were notices that were sent to him, and he would just tear them up, never referred them to us. We didn't know until we discovered after he had left that he had committed a whole bunch of things, what the city calls blight. He had parked his 28-foot boat right on the swale in front of the house. Things that we had no idea what was going on. The larger part of the lien is something that has been there or had been there. We removed it forever. There was an awning in back of the house, a large aluminum awning enclosed by a screen, aluminum door and screen. When my uncle and aunt bought that house in November of '94, it was already there. We never knew that it had been done illegally. I have pictures that I had Mr. Ortega look at the records, and he went back as far back as '07, and the aerial photograph clearly shows that the awning was there. And I can say, and so can my sister, and so can he, who was a friend of the Torrentes, my uncle and aunt, that awning was there when they bought the house. Now, when Mr. Garcia, the code enforcement officer, I went to talk to him, and he said, look, this awning is totally illegal. And I want to explain how this came about. We requested a certificate of reoccupancy because my sister's daughter is interested in buying the house. So, that's the requirement of the title work, so we requested it. That's when we found out about all these problems. So, essentially, we inherited this house, and we inherited the awning. And when Mr. Garcia said it's illegal, I had a crew there 2 days later, and they took it down in 2 days. And they carted away the aluminum and everything. So this is our situation. We inherited the bigger problem, and the other problem was created by a tenant that I couldn't physically. I would have wanted to grab him by the neck and throw him out, but we have to go through a court process, and that took us 4 months. That's essentially the situation we have.
Thank you very much. Mr. Pena, or?
Mr. Mayor, the total of the lien amount that's on the property is $61,613.50. And again, those were for the illegal structure and the blight on the property. As Mr. Pastoriza says, once they took control of the property, they cleaned it up and they immediately removed the illegal structure. Again, this is something that, unfortunately, the older gentleman that was living there was not able to handle while he was living there, and then after the tenant moved in, it just got worse. We have no problem with mitigating this fine, and because of the kind of structure that it was, and it was an aluminum structure that was put up by somebody back in the 80s, and no one ever took care of it, and then eventually it was cited for the illegal structure. I don't have any problem with accepting a lower than usual settlement because of the high amount that it has accumulated to, which is not beyond their control.
So, to cover costs and so on, what will be your recommendation on this matter?
5% of the total amount.
Okay, and that amount is how much?
$61,613.50.
3,000.
Yes, that's the bare minimum.
Okay, what's the amount again?
$61,613.50.
Okay. Yes,
May-
yes.
Mr. Ben, I'd like to stay away from percentages, so the exact amount of this file, how much money did it cost us to maintain the file and go out with, have Martin go out and everything else we had to do? What did it cost us to maintain this file and keep it open?
$3,080 will cover the cost.
Okay.
Mayor?
Yes.
I think this is a very special case because I know it's the first time I see them, but I know the kind of family this family are, Pastoriza. And I know they're very decent, very serious, and they inherited the house, and this case, you know, I agree, you know, accept the cost of this, the cost that this has been involved. I agree with that. The
Okay.
$3,080.
Commissioner Blanes?
I also agree, but I have one caveat for you, Counselor.
Yes, sir.
You know, there's no problem obtaining a good individual to rent here in West Miami. You know, you don't have a problem with that. Good people, good families want to come and want to live here. So if you're going to rent this house again, you better do your due diligence and you better make sure that you rent to someone that's going to take care of this property and is going to pay you, and that it's not going to be, you know, an issue for the other residents.
That's
Because
what-
their quality of life suffers because
Yeah.
of the type of individual or families that you're going to rent to. So I hope that in the future, if you're going to rent this property,
Well-
that you find somebody good.
We're looking to sell it to my niece.
Okay.
That's,
Is she
she's
good?
gonna be a good, she's gonna be a good,
Candidate.
a good candidate.
Okay, all right.
This is her mother here.
Okay, all right. So,
And, you
so
know,
she's got to be good then.
there, you know, no more tenants. No,
Okay.
no for me in my lifetime.
Well, that's great. We will welcome your daughter to.
So was he your
To
only,
West
was he your only tenant the whole time?
The only tenant, we rented in, my uncle died in 16. We cleaned up the house, you know, and painted it and everything, made it real nice. And he moved in there in September or October of 16. And by March, I was evicting him.
Wow, okay.
Yeah, by March.
Okay. Any further
Mr.
questions or
Pastoriza, I
comments?
did ask you this question while we were discussing. You do title work, is that correct?
Yes, yes.
And I asked you point blank whether or not at the time that you purchased the house, I mean, that your uncle purchased the house, you did the closing.
Yeah, there was no lien then, there was no notice, there was nothing. We had a lien search company do a lien search, as we usually do, to write title insurance, and we came back clean. But this is back in '94, I don't have that file anymore. We
Well,
get rid of them after about 7
In
years.
other words, when you researched due diligence, there was no notification that had
Not in
something
'94,
there?
no. As a matter of fact, it was when we're doing the due diligence to get their certificate of reoccupancy when we found out about these liens.
And when was that, sir?
This was this year, July, I think.
Probably.
Yeah.
And when was the structure taken down?
2 days after Mr. Garcia and I spoke. It took me 2 days to find a crew, and they did it in 2 days. And I gave them a bonus. I told them, take the aluminum. You know that that's money there. So, you know. because they did so well.
Okay.
The reason that I asked this is that my preface, my disclosure was that I think that he did everything that needed to be done.
Okay.
So in this particular case, it's a different case that we see every day.
Okay.
Notwithstanding the fact that he was my professor, he gave me a hard time.
What about the timeline, Mr. Mayor? How long are we going to? leave this
Right. Well, first of all, we're gonna call a motion first. Typically, what we need to do is we need to put a time that this fine will be paid. So what do you
So,
feel comfortable with?
I think, the next few days, 5 days would be okay.
Okay. How about, how long does it take the closing process and if you sell the house? Which is,
It's going to take nowadays about 45 days because they have to qualify for a mortgage
okay,
and, they run the credit and all that. 45 days usually.
okay,
That's fine.
okay. So why don't we put it at 45 days? I will wait for you to, in 5 days, to come back over here and so on. Are we in agreement with that?
Yeah,
Why don't we
okay.
just make it 60 days, Mr.
38.
Mayor, just in case?
Mhm.
45 days is fine? Okay, 45.
Is 45 days fine?
Fine,
Okay.
45 days, yes.
Okay. Well, I need a
So
motion.
motion.
Second.
Okay, and that motion will be with the condition that pay the $3,080 within 45 days? Okay. Anything else?
okay.
Okay, can you call the vote?
Yes, Mr. Mayor. Commissioner Suarez, how do you vote?
Yes,
Commissioner Blanca? Yes. Commissioner Blanes?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Rodriguez?
Yes.
Mayor Mujina?
Yes,
5-0, item passes.
thank you.
Thank you, commissioners, Mr. Mayor, Mr. Villalobos, Mr. Peña. Have a
Thank
great
you.
day.
Thank you.
And tell your daughter good luck.
I have a question for you, Mr. Pastoriza.
Yes,
Are you relative to Gilberto Pastoriza?
he's our cousin.
Your cousin?
He's our cousin. He's the one that does city work.
Oh, yeah.
He represents, I think, right now, he's representing the city of Doral. He's special, and he teaches at St. Thomas University, municipal law. And he's about to retire.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening.
Thank you.
Good evening.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
I have to go get my file.
Unless we have any other items,
Nope.
let's go back to
You
the
followed
original.
item on
order.
the agenda.
Okay, so back to item 5.
Item 5, report of the city manager.
Good evening. I've submitted a written report. If you wish, I could elaborate on the record.
Okay,
Again, going back to FEMA, Monday I spoke to TJ, which is our representative, Randall from FEMA, and he advises that all the paperwork that he redid for us and resubmitted is going along fine, and that it should be another couple of weeks or months, or maybe a month before we get the obligation. They're reviewing stuff that smaller projects right now. The big stuff is already reviewed and it's fine. They're reviewing now the smaller projects, and they're going back to even payments that they've already made to us, just auditing to make sure that everything was done correctly.
so what's the guesstimate for payment?
Another month.
Another month.
Thank you.
Again, the street sign installation by Friday, 62nd Avenue will be done. We've had other work, so that's gone to the back burner a little bit. Cooper Park, as you've seen, part of the FERDAP grant, we did the installation of new tables and waste baskets, and the trail was completely paved, and it is now complete. Within the next couple of weeks, or probably after the new year, we'll start doing the paved areas that we talked about for the right-of-ways in order for cars to be able to park on better surfaces than the right-of-way in the condition it's in. We are right now sprucing up the rec center. new coat of paint on buildings, and fixing up for the holiday celebration, which will be December 12th. We expect the newly renovated Christmas tree with the LED lights to arrive this Friday, and at that point, we will start assembling it to have it ready for the 12th. The Garden Club Park is nearly finished. The gazebos are in and installed. We have some furniture that still needs to go in, and the restroom, typical to the one at Cooper Park, is on order, and it's scheduled to be delivered early part of January. City Hall, we have done some remodeling, but we're going to be doing the commission chamber from the FEMA allocations, and some renovation that we had intended for the commission chamber within the next couple of weeks. So pardon our dust when you come around. Also, within the next 6 months, we have a bunch of local issues on the agenda as far as road, drainage, and right-of-way improvements. So all that is on the agenda tonight, and I'll discuss it as we get to them.
Thank
That's it.
you. Any questions for,
I do.
okay?
Mr. Penna, in your, in your memo, as I was reading along here with you, you skipped the part, and I wonder about surprises for all who attend? What surprises you have in mind, Mr. Penna?
Oh, for the holiday celebration.
Yes. This year, we have surprises for all who attend.
Well, that would
Are
be
you buying me a gift?
that would be the attractions are actually all Christmas or holiday related, so it'll give it a complete different look to the park as you've seen in the past. So that should be exciting.
Oh, okay. Thank you for elaborating.
The new lights are gonna be in time?
They supposedly here on Friday.
Okay, all right, awesome.
Cutting it close, isn't it?
Tell me I'm the one with the saver.
Okay. I'm good.
All right. Next item, please.
Item 6, report of the city attorney.
Please don't take this as a complaint, but I do have an issue. The manager has been making me work very hard the past 3 weeks, so I don't
Is
have
he
any,
The manager or the acting city manager?
the acting city manager.
Oh, okay, all right.
So I don't have any written report.
But it's only been the last 2 weeks?
3 weeks, more or less, you know.
Well, he give you a break. He didn't make you work the whole 6 months or 4 months, however long it's been.
Well, but before it was, about 125%, and then it escalated 150, then 250,
Okay.
percent, so.
Okay.
Keeps them versatile.
Yes, absolutely.
I have to go down to my car to get my file amendment, please.
Okay, is that for the report?
No, I don't have a report.
Okay, all right. Do you mind if we go on to the next item, Mr. Attorney?
No, sir.
Okay. Next item, item 7.
Item 7, report of the city engineer.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, Commission. I don't have a specific report tonight, but we do have 4 items on the agenda, so I just wanted to address that. Mr.
We can take
Penna-
those out of order if you wish at this time, Mr. Mayor.
No, it's fine. I could just give an overview of the projects. Mr.
Okay.
Penna alluded to them. We have 4 projects coming up on the agenda. We have a kind of a fast start to 2019, which is great news. Mr. Penna spoke about 2 of the projects we finished during 2018, Garden Club Park and Cooper Park. So building on that, we have a few exciting projects coming up, the renovation, the expansion of the rec center, which will get kicked off, and the addition here for City Hall for the police department. So our scope of work on those 2 projects will be basically to prepare the design criteria package, put together the bid documents, and put it out as a design-build procurement, basically similar to what we did here in the Public Works Department, which worked out successfully the way the procurement ran. In addition, we'll be doing the bid documents to put out to bid the expansion of the City Hall area down here for the passport office. So that's going to be coming up too. And the last piece is a drainage improvement project. First one we've done in a while, over on the one over on
12th Street and
12th Street, and one over
57th,
on 13th Street and 65th.
12 and 57?
Yeah.
That's way overdue.
Yep.
You know that water that accumulates there
Yeah, with the
between those 2 restaurants?
The restaurants are,
Yeah.
yeah, that's a pond.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay,
and then 13th Street and 65th. So those are part of one of the projects.
okay.
So, you know, just an exciting start to 2019, you know, getting off the ground running here. And I guess as we touch on each of those items in the agenda, I can field any questions at that time.
Okay,
All right,
thank you.
thank you.
Next item?
Item 8, committee reports. Report of the mayor.
I'll be brief. I think we had a great year so far, and unbelievable, but we're at the end of 2018, and this will be our last meeting. I'm looking forward to the lighting of the tree ceremony with the new lighting, and that will be on the 12th. So please be there, don't be square, and attend, because it's going to be a lot of fun. And like I said, I have really enjoyed this year working with this commission. I think we had so far a great year, and but remember, the best is yet to come. So just get ready. And that's all I got for my report. Anybody else?
No, sir.
Okay. Next item?
Item 9, citizen presentations. No presentations, Mr. Mayor.
Okay.
Next item would be item 10, unfinished business. Follow-up report by the Office of the Acting City Manager in reference to status of FEMA reimbursement process that was addressed at the manager's report.
Mm-hmm.
So we proceed with the agenda with item 11C, request by Miami-Dade County regarding execution of interlocal agency agreement authorizing all traffic control and traffic engineering services under the exclusive jurisdiction of the county. Do you want me to read item D, Mr. Mayor?
Please do.
Item 11D, resolution of the Mayor and City Commission of the City of West Miami authorizing the city manager to execute an interlocal agency agreement with the City of West Miami authorizing all traffic control and traffic engineering functions under the exclusive jurisdiction of Miami-Dade County, providing for effective date, Mayor and City Commission.
Thank you. Mr. Penna?
Mr. Mayor, this item came before you over 6 months ago. It's basically the county will be in charge of all traffic maintenance and all traffic design and planning for all of our local streets as part of the grid of the entire Miami-Dade County traffic system. Also, they, at the same time, will allow us to build in the future traffic circles that have been standardized and submitted to us as a standardized installation. And it incorporates the adoption of acceptance of all the traffic circles that we have built over the years as Exhibit E and C on this agreement. And it goes there from there on to the future.
Okay. Also, I want to hear from our city engineer. Do you see any, because I know there were some concerns last time, and I wanted to make sure that, I mean, is anything detrimental to our city, or does it, the way it was drafted, does it help our city? I mean, what's your opinion? Because you know,
yes.
we need to hear from you. We make our decision based on recommendations and so on, so.
Well, the agreement is a bit of a give and take. I think in essence, they do stipulate first and foremost in the agreement that they are the sole jurisdiction over any streets in Miami-Dade County, which is something that they have been stating for a long time, but this would be basically an agreement putting that in writing and agreeing to that. So that's kind of the first part of the agreement. The second part of the agreement is a bit of a give and take. What they're giving is basically they're giving the city the ability to install traffic circles without going to them for approval, so long as they meet this specific standard that they have in there, and that standard does work for us. We have very typical right-of-ways here in the city. We don't have very many abnormal right-of-ways, so that installation that they have as part of the agreement really works well for us. So we don't really need to modify that much. Most of the circles that we've built adhere to that, except for obviously like Sylvania or roads like that where you have a weird right of way. What we're giving basically is we're taking something which we already have, but they're putting it in writing, which is the maintenance of the existing traffic calming facilities that we have within the city. So there is nothing in writing up today that relieves the county of that responsibility, because since they are the sole jurisdiction over traffic facilities in the county, technically they're supposed to maintain those things. But you know, the city has been maintaining them since we built them, so it's something we already do. So we're essentially not really giving anything up.
It was customary.
It's just
yeah.
being put into writing. So it's really formalizing what already exists, essentially. And they're giving us the ability to build things, you know, without their specific approval.
Okay, I have a quick, a key question for you. We had several residents in different areas that have complained about traffic problems and so on.
Yes.
Will this give us a more flexibility to deal with those situations and not going to the county or?
Yes, it will. I mean, it will in the sense that if, for example, you know, we want to install a traffic circle in an area that doesn't have one now, you know, we can do that without going to the county's approval. We simply have to do our, you know, we have to commission our own traffic study, and we have to approve it at the city manager level, and that's it. We don't have to go to the county for that second approval, as so long as we're building what's standard.
Okay.
So yes, there is a positive there. Now, if we're going to build anything beyond the standard, yes, we still have to go to the county for an approval.
Okay. I don't have any further questions. Does anybody?
So
Yes.
do I.
So just to be clear, before this agreement, if we did a traffic study,
Yes.
and the traffic study allowed us to put a traffic circle in such and such avenue and street, we still needed the approval of the county?
Correct. That's the way it is right now. Yeah.
That's the way it is right now?
Yeah.
Okay, so doing this agreement, if we do the traffic study and the traffic study determines that a traffic calming device is needed at such and such avenue and street, it would be just us?
That's correct. It
in-
would be at the discretion of the city manager. The city manager is happy with the traffic study, that
So-
it justifies it.
So it is
we can do it.
administrative?
Administrative, that's right.
It doesn't come up here?
No.
Okay.
Well,
well-
that's up to the city.
Well,
That part's up to the city.
Customary, everything comes up here.
Everything
but,
will, right.
But it doesn't have to go to the county.
Well, you know, the point I'm making is if there's some contention, as you said, if there's a resident that is not in agreement and it's the only one, and, you know, you have others that do want the calming device, you know, and we've had that situation already, you know, to the detriment of all the residents that wanted the calming device. And, you know, we don't have a calming device because it's just one individual. So,
Well, in that sense, I mean, remember, this is just an agreement between the city and the county. So if the city wanted to create its own process for that, you guys have, you know, that's the city's
so it'll be
prerogative.
up to us,
Yeah. Yeah,
to the
the city
commission.
could create its own process for how you want to approve it, basically.
Before we're dealing with the county's process,
Yes.
Right.
right? Okay,
Okay.
all right.
Any other questions?
Yes, I do. I'm a little confused. Mr. Penna, you said about 6 months ago, this came before us, and we all had a lot of questions and concerns. So, have those questions and concerns been addressed? And why is this coming before us again if they have not been?
Again, it was requested by members of the commission to put it back on the agenda. And the item, although I believe that, and my opinion hasn't changed, that, you know, we should be entitled to control our own traffic within the city. There is benefit in entering into the agreement as far as being able to place future traffic circles coming out of whatever traffic study we start now in 2019 with the funding that we were allocated. And with speeding up the process as far as installation of those traffic circles. And they, at the same time, are accepting every other traffic device that we have installed, whether approved by them or not approved by them in the past.
I'm not hearing anything tonight that I didn't hear 6 months ago.
Correct.
So why are we reconsidering this? If nothing has changed, I am not hearing any other benefit that I didn't hear or concern that I didn't hear before. Why are we reconsidering this? If nothing has changed, if nothing was made better, if I don't hear any other benefits to the city or to our residents that I heard before, none of the concerns, for instance, I remember we asked about, did this have to do with the traffic studies? Did it have to do with, we had concerns over how many other municipalities had signed? I'm not hearing any of those questions being answered tonight, so how can I vote on something that I'm not hearing any answers to?
Yes.
They do have more cities on board now.
Now, may I?
Sure.
I'm going to give you
By
an
the way, those
example.
are good questions.
I'm going to give you an example that has nothing to do with this, but it does. Okay? On the red light cameras, we have a system whereby we establish that in order to have ATS to issue citation to the police department to issue citation on the turning right, our code is 15 miles an hour, right? 15 miles an hour. 10 miles an hour. And there are other municipalities that have 15, 12 miles, 25 miles, etc. So this has been taken out by a lawyer saying that this is unconstitutional. And the reason that it's very difficult to understand why, for a citizen that goes out through a municipality and then go out to the next municipality to have a diverse issue 5 miles, 10 miles, 15 miles, and so on and so forth. Now, the issue is that we live in Miami-Dade County. We are within Miami-Dade County. As I have expressed before, the top of the line as far as laws is concerned is the Constitution of the state of Florida. Then it comes out whatever the legislation is on particular issues, and then it comes down to counties. And then the last one is the cities that are within the counties. Miami-Dade County does have ordinances and sections, especially 2-95, 2-96, that says all traffic control devices and engineering are under exclusive control of Miami-Dade County. And the reason is that it would be very difficult for us to have our own, and then the guy next door, the municipality next door, to have their own, and so on and so forth. And this is the only reason that it creates uniformity, so everybody is treated the same way. As the manager said, and the engineer says, there are things that we might not like, and there are things that are there, but this is what we have in the books right now. As I say, like it or not, this is it.
Mr. Attorney, thank you, but as you stated, it is already written in 295 and 296, and that's what we have been following all along. It's written. I have it right in front of me, and we're following it. So, again, why are we reinventing the wheel and rewriting it? And how do I know that this agreement that we're writing is identical to all the other cities that have already signed, so that there is uniformity?
We don't know that there
We
is,
don't.
everybody is the same thing, and
Right.
this is why I just mentioned, I mean,
Right.
it's my duty to inform you what I think the law is. I think that it would.
Correct, but
Let me ask you this, does it hurt the city of West Miami?
No, that's why I asked the question, but I think we need to, in all due, respect to Commissioner, to
Mayor.
the Vice Mayor,
I have questions after her.
okay?
I mean,
But then
I
let's
want
not
to-
forget about the questions, so we can go back to that. Okay, go ahead. No, go ahead.
Okay, let me tell you. This issue was here months ago. And I was, after that, I did my research about this matter. And the conclusions I found is this. If you see the request that is presented to us is interlocal agency agreement authorizing all traffic control, traffic engineering service under the exclusive jurisdiction of the county. This, what they has been doing to the county, because we have 34 cities form the county. And the situation is that if each city have their own traffic ordinance and their own traffic engineering movement of the vehicles, is a chaos. So what they're trying to do is that in the umbrella of the 34 cities, we have a uniform way to move the traffic and to make the flow of traffic the most even possible all over the area of the county. And this agreement, we are not giving away rights, because I thought the last time, we were giving away, our right of possession of the city, of the streets, and it's not that. It's the jurisdiction about the traffic control and traffic engineering services on the jurisdiction of the county. But this is trying to make the 34 cities in uniformity. Let me repeat again. Try to make the same style of traffic in the same way, so the county, as a unity, move the traffic in the whole area. This is the agreement that is presented to us. And I think most all the cities in the county agree with this. Most of the cities are sign this agreement with the county, trying to do the Gables and us, trying to do the flow of the traffic be uniform. Do not be an obstacle, one city to the other. And I agree with this agreement because this is the way, one of the ways that the county will solve the problem with the traffic. We are not giving away our control of the possession of the streets. We are not giving away any right. What we are agreeing with the county is to move the traffic around the whole area. And I think it should be the way. We have 34 municipalities, and we cannot be, like a circus. Each city have a different way. And I agree with this because this is what is happening in most of the counties in the country. And most of the cities in this county, they are signing these agreements for a specific agreement authorizing all traffic control and traffic engineering service on the exclusive jurisdiction of the county. So the county will tell the cities how we move the traffic all over the area. We are not surrendering any rights. Months ago, in this table, that was a discussion. Right. But we are not. I make research. I went to another cities. I went to the county, and we are not surrendering any rights. We are just making an agreement with the county that the traffic will be uniform in the whole area, and that will be for you, the engineering companies. When you are going to do some kind of development in any cities, you will be much better informed how the traffic will be moving, and the traffic will be congestions and discongest. That would be good for you, the county idea. And this is what about. We are not surrendering any right. The last time we discussed about that. And that's why Commissioner Rodriguez asked the question, what is that? But I was doing my research, and I understand this situation. We are just trying to make, like with other cities, try to make the traffic better for the county.
Vice Mayor, just to answer your question, the ILA is standardized to all the cities. So what we sign is the same format that every other city is signing. And
yeah, if I may, just to add on that, I have seen, for example, I do some work for the city of Miami as well. I've seen their ILA; it's identical to ours.
Correct.
So.
And then, in addition to that, what's changed since the last time, The county has always been, as Mr. Villalobos stated, under sections 295 and 296 of Miami-Dade County Code, they are, under their interpretation of that section, that they are the sole authority on traffic and traffic engineering. And basically, what this does is makes every city in the county acknowledge what they've been saying for years. Because if you go back in history, you'll remember that Coral Gables, when they started putting up their circles really don't conform to what the county wants as a standardized circle. Those gates that they put, they didn't conform to what the county wanted back then. So this is, they're basically tired of everybody being outcast and saying, well, we didn't know. They want everybody to say, present, we understand now. Everybody knows from here on in. And then everything that's been built prior to this date is now grandfathered into this agreement. Anything going forward, you use the standardized process. If not, if it's oblong or some weird shape, circle or traffic calmer, then you must submit to them for review.
Now, the last statement that I want to say is this, assuming that we did control our traffic signaling, and we decided that instead of an octagon, the stop sign would be a triangle. It would be very confusing. So simply what they want to do is make everybody aware that they could come and comply, make us comply anyway with what we have. So what the county appears to be saying is that they want to be conforming everybody, understanding that it's the same way.
Yeah, that's an acknowledgement.
Go ahead.
Oh, by the way, it says the county and the city agrees that nothing contained in this agreement shall diminish the impact rights of either entity with respect to jurisdiction, sovereignty, or permitting powers, or any other matter relating to the installation, use, and maintenance of the traffic control devices, unless specifically set forth herein. And in section 2, it says the city may install and maintain the following design: traffic calming devices and/or signs, collectively traffic calming devices. The only local municipal street operating, maintaining by the city within the boundary, and no less than 250 feet from existing traffic control, etc., and so on and so forth. So it does relate to what we're doing anyway.
Mayor, by the way, we notice, everybody notice, every day more people come to the county. And now, more cars, and we know, so that's why we have to order and try to make it simpler or more organized, the traffic in the county. That's my research, and I make a motion to approve this.
Wait. No, before, no, I have some comments from our,
I disagree with Commissioner Suarez. Nobody's gonna fix the traffic problem that we haven't taken.
But I didn't say,
That was my point.
Nobody.
I didn't
okay,
say, I
wait.
did not said so.
Hold on.
No,
Okay,
don't
okay,
go
okay.
away, don't
I'll-
go away with wrong things.
No.
Don't tell wrong things in the table, because then.
There's nothing that's gonna fix the traffic. You know, if I recall, we had a contention here on this commission about signing this agreement. And basically, it was that we felt that the county was pressuring us to sign the agreement so that we could have their grant to do our traffic study. But we are obtaining that grant, right? The $40,000?
That's correct.
That was awarded
prior.
It's already been secured,
It's
right?
separate, it's a separate
So,
thing,
so now that we did receive the grant and that basically it seems like it's just all standardizing things, and that we are able to be able to determine where we want, well, not where we want, where our traffic study determines that we want our calming devices, and not having to deal with the county as long as it's standardized, as long as it's as per the traffic study and the fabrication of the calming devices is standard to the agreement, then we can do as we please as a city, as a commission. So that's a plus. I mean, I don't see what the big deal is agreeing to standardize everything. City manager does have a point. If one city wants to have, one color sign for this, and then the other city another color sign for that, then, that can cause issues. Plus, the attorney was alluding to the fact that there's a lawsuit by an attorney, or there's some contention about having different standards applied to pedestrians and to drivers as far as speed and so on and so forth, Mr. Attorney?
Right. Yes, sir.
And that agreement takes care of that issue?
Well,
not that issue, no.
this-
No,
I
no.
just use it as an example
He's
Well-
talking about
of
speed limit.
diversity.
Can I?
Well, let's just say all the cities have red light cameras and have the right turn issue. So then it would have to be a standardized 10 mile an hour, 50
Well,
mile an
and
hour.
there would be
12
another statute that had no reference to this. I mean, I just use that as an example what,
So this
the
agreement will
diversity.
not have anything to do with that?
No,
No.
this is
No,
specifically for
I
traffic
apologize
calming
if I
devices.
confused you, but I was just using that as a reference.
Yeah, that was just
The
an
main
example.
reference was that, for instance, if we want a stop sign, another color on triangle instead of an octagon, red. Okay?
Okay, let me speak for a second here. I believe that we have answered some of the vice mayor question, but I think we haven't answered all of them. And I'm a firm believer in we have the right to say yes or no after our questions are answered and after things are understood, okay? I kind of going to piggyback on what Commissioner Suarez to answer some of your questions. I remember a very different night. Sometimes we get affected by emotions. It was during a time where we had some issues with development and closing streets and not closing streets and so on. So the other thing is that day we had somebody from the county presenting here, almost overpowering the presentation and almost. And I'm glad you brought up the issue because I remember myself saying, tell you what, we feel like we're blackmailed with this grant. If we don't sign this, we're not going to get this grant. Well, that's water under the table. That went beyond. The other thing that I did is went out and I talked to other municipalities and I studied. I really don't know. I'm glad you said that more have signed this agreement. I forgot about that question. I'm glad you asked that question. The one thing that caught my attention is that I have meetings with the county, and I have meetings with people. Do you remember that group that came over here from 18th Street complaining about the traffic problems and so on? And during that meeting that I had with them and the county, I felt like we were at a deadlock because of this agreement, this understanding, things were not getting done. At the time, the question that I raised was about the grant, and they assured me that that was not the issue, okay? So the other thing that we have pride ourselves, all of us, of being very, very protective of our city and not letting anybody else dictate, and I'm one of those, and what to do. The other thing that is also clear, that it was not clear that night to me, and after further research, is that I walked out of that night with the understanding that they had total control, and therefore, that's why things were not happening. My understanding with this agreement is that as long as we follow the standards, which all cities should follow, then we have control on placing devices. After, of course, we study the traffic flow and so on, where that night I thought that although these standards were implemented, we still needed to go to the county to get approval. So that's what is different for me. I thought that night, I was under the impression, at least that's what I thought, that they still, okay, here are the standards, you're gonna do it this way, but you still have to come to us for approval. That's not what I'm hearing tonight.
That's
Okay,
correct.
can
Yeah,
you
they-
confirm
they-
that? Because I want to
that's
make sure that.
confirmed, yeah. I mean, so long as we follow their standard traffic circle, if that's what we're installing, like I said, which works well for the way that this city's laid out, it would cover 90% of the situations that we have.
The other issue that is important is what Mr. Pena mentioned, okay? They've been alluding for years that some of the traffic circles, we didn't get approved. Or we
Correct.
build it the way we
So
want.
now that's under the bridge. That's
Yeah, no, it is now under the bridge.
now under the bridge.
It is on, but that was part also of the contention.
Yes.
Okay? Because we claim, no, we asked for, we didn't permit individual circles, but a global, we did. Is that?
That's correct.
That's what I remember. So,
No, we would
I-
still, I'm sorry, Mr. Mayor, but we would still have to go, if we're gonna do a speed table or something that's not a circle, then yes, we still have to go through their review process, which, by the way, it's not an onerous process. We do this in every other city, and we've done it in this city, like we did before. So we're not giving anything up. We still have to go through the same process. If we're doing the standard circle, which, like I said, for us works really well, then I think it's a positive for the city.
right, we will have to go through that standard process, but if there was not a signed agreement, there will be no process, because then we'll be fighting,
We would be fighting.
okay? And who gets hurt? The people that live here in the city of West Miami. I mean, at least that's my understanding. Now, what was the other question? Because I know you had the one about other municipalities. To me, that's irrelevant right now, but at the time, it was relevant. But you said that there's more that have signed it.
That's
Mr. Penn?
correct. They have like 21 on board.
Our neighbors adjacent to us,
Yes,
have they, Coral Gables in City of Miami?
Yes.
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 Okay, all
As
right.
a matter of fact, they even looking at the gables, probably removing some of the closures.
Redesigning theirs, yeah.
Yeah, the city of gables. And by the way, this is something else that I learned that I didn't know. In the area of Corrugate, this is something that happened to me personally. One day, I wanted to go to Key Biscayne, and, I said, you know what? I go through the gables, and then I go through Corrugate, and then, then I know I can exit. Yeah, I can exit behind Sears, and I was trapped for I don't know how long, till I finally parked my car. I Googled the address for Google to get me out of that neighborhood. I couldn't get out. And then, so I became so interested in that problem that then I did some research, and they have two complaints where the fire rescue couldn't get there on time.
Absolutely.
And people, one person died
Absolutely, yeah.
because of the traps
I'm aware of
created,
that,
which
one.
are not standard. So,
We're
I mean, I have
yeah.
done some research. That's the only reason personally, I'm on board with
That's the perfect
this.
example as to why the county has that ordinance.
Yeah, so,
Okay, Mr. Mayor, in hearing all the discussion, I just have a few more questions I want
Yes, go ahead.
clarification on. Mr. Penna, we
Yes.
have that grant money already? It's here, we have it in the bank?
No, the money's not here, but the ILA's signed on both sides.
So it's 100% guaranteed we are getting that TPO grant money for our traffic study?
Yes, for the $40,000, yes.
Frankie, is this only for traffic circles and nothing else?
No, the ILA, what we're talking about right now, covers all traffic calming devices, so speed humps.
Traffic calming devices, I should say.
Yeah.
Right.
That and nothing else. This
That's
affects
correct.
nothing
correct.
else. Because my esteemed commissioner said it would affect congestion and traffic flow and whatnot.
No, this is specific to traffic calming devices.
Period. End of story, nothing else.
Yes.
Okay.
Now, as
Last
part
but
of
not,
the- I'm sorry,
conjecture, forget about that one.
right, I just
agree
want
with that.
clarification.
As
This
part
has
of the
nothing to do with
agreement,
traffic
they
flow
have- it
or
has-
congestion.
Yeah, it has that acknowledgement that, you acknowledge the county ordinance, basically, it's a whereas, you acknowledge the county ordinance, and then it just talks about, the
Ag-
traffic calming devices.
Okay,
It grandfathers our existing traffic
Grandfathers.
circles.
And it states that we are to maintain all our traffic calming
Exactly,
devices.
and then in
Which
the
we
fu-
already do.
Which we already do, and then in the future, any installation of regular traffic circles similar to what we have installed we could do without having to go through the process.
Mr. Penna?
Which brings me back to, I mean, we are already following 295 and 296. We do not have our own agreement, so we're already doing all this.
Correct, but they want an acknowledgement from every
Right.
city.
So, Mr. Penna, the last question is for you, because now you're sitting in another capacity. When this came up before, you were not in support of it. So now, all the reasons you've given tonight, as a recommendation from staff, you are now in support of this? Clarification.
He's sitting in a different seat.
Right, so, I mean, because, again, not a lot has changed from then to now, so recommendation from
As an
staff
ac- as an
is,
acknowledgement of the ordinances, yes.
you are in support of this, that we signed,
Acknowledgement of 295 and 296, yes.
which we already have.
Yes,
So again, nothing's changed.
yes.
Mr.
Motion on the
Penna, can
table,
you be
Mayor.
clear on
No,
something?
not yet.
No, I put a motion already.
Point of order, we still have questions.
Well,
Just to
but I
be
do it.
clear, you mentioned something about grandfathering in all our circles.
Our existing traffic circles, the
Our
ones that they
existing-
say that haven't been permitted through them.
Okay, there's one in particular that I believe, according to one of our traffic studies, that mandated that, you know, one should go there. And then what happened, that there was some contention with some of the residents. Most of the residents wanted it, except for one. And I believe that one resident appealed to the county, and the county, I guess, you know, felt that they should help this just one resident. And
That's another meeting, by the way.
We will,
With all due respect,
Well,
with
does
all
it
due
apply?
respect,
My
we have a
question is-
lot of items in the
my question
agenda.
is, does it apply to that circle?
of course.
Yes.
It's everything that's in the first traffic study.
Okay, because, you know, in
And,
the majority of the residents want that
And
traffic circle.
the second traffic study will probably show the same thing again, so.
You know, I think it would behoove us now at this point to agree, because it's gonna give us the power, you know, to democratically, you know, place that traffic signal, traffic calmer where it belongs, that one person using Dade County was able to subvert. Okay? And there were most of the residents, if not all of them. As a matter of fact, I spoke to one a couple of weeks ago, and they were asking me, when are you guys gonna put a traffic circle here? And I told them that we would probably need to do another traffic study. So this is actually very good news, because now, with this agreement, we'll be able to put a traffic circle there,
By the way, okay,
where we were not allowed by the county to do, just because of one resident.
we got it. Listen, I'm sorry. We have a very long agenda. We have some items that needs to be discussed. No, we got it.
Is there a
Can we
motion
finish the
second?
discussion?
No.
Mayor, I just want to know if the discussion is over.
One last question, and
Yes,
we're gonna
Mr.
call the
Penna,
question.
how far do you, how many more traffic calming devices do you foresee us putting in our 1 square mile city? Just from your,
I will go positively on the record that our second traffic study will show you that all the streets that were left open from 57 to 67 will require additional traffic circles. So I would say anywhere from 10 to 12 more circles.
10 to 12 more circles.
That's correct.
And let me just be sure I understand. What you said something that concerned me, Commissioner.
From the previous traffic study.
Correct.
Right, that
We-
you said something that concerned me. I don't want residents to hear and think that now anyone can come and request a traffic calming device
No.
and we're gonna do it.
No,
That's not what this says.
That's not the case. This went on for,
Right.
this went on for a while. I mean, the residents that I'm alluding to, they know that there's a process. And they knew that the process took place, and that the traffic study determined that a traffic calming device would be appropriate for that, determined that one would be appropriate for that intersection. But there-
That's step one. The traffic study is step one of the process. Then after that, we go out and we solicit input from the general public as far as what they, if they want to see the traffic circle because that intersection warrants it. If the majority does, then that's what we follow.
If we have the money to do so at that
That's
time.
correct.
Okay.
But in priorities, that's what we follow.
Yeah, I
Okay.
mean, You're not gonna have a
okay.
person that comes over here that said, okay, by the way, my street, needs a traffic circle. That's not gonna happen.
Just wanted to put that on the record.
There's a process, there's a process. It has to
Okay.
be based on traffic study and so on.
Okay.
Okay, I called the question. I need a motion.
Motion?
Second.
Okay, all right. Can you call the vote,
Yes,
please?
Mr. Mayor. Commissioner Blanca, how do you vote? Commissioner Blanes?
Yes.
Commissioner Suarez?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Rodriguez?
Yes.
Mayor Mujina?
Yes,
5-0, item passes.
thank you. Next item?
Item 11E, resolution of the City of West Miami adopting and implementing the results of the November 6, 2018 election, approving certain amendments to the charter of the City of West Miami, directing the city clerk to file said charter and its amendments with the clerk of Miami-Dade County, and further instructing the city clerk to forward the city charter and its amendments to the Municipal Code Corporation, Muni Code, for its publication by Mayor and City Commission. And on this note, Mr. Mayor and members of the City Commission, the Elections Department on November 17 certified the official results of the West Miami special election that we had two charter amendments. Charter Amendment number 1, which was the expenses, limiting expenses to City Commission, did not pass. It was not approved. Question number 2, establishing the duties of the mayor, was approved. So those are, the results are available online. We posted it on the city's website, and it's posted outside of City Hall.
Thank you. Great work. Need a motion?
Second?
Okay, call the vote.
What
Yes.
happened to my motion?
I was gonna say, I pointed to you. You weren't loud enough.
On the vote?
Motion by Commissioner Blanca and second by Commissioner Suarez.
No problem.
Okay, Commissioner Blanes, how do you vote?
Yes.
Commissioner Blanca, how do you vote? Commissioner Suarez?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Rodriguez?
Yes.
Mayor Mujina?
Yes.
5-0, item passes. Next item, item 11F, resolution of the mayor and city commission of the city of West Miami authorizing the city manager, the acting city manager, to execute that certain contract with, I believe it's AutoNation, right, Mr.?
Sheriff's Association, Chief?
Auto Nation, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram,
Through the
Correct.
sheriff's
to
bid.
the sheriff's bid.
Through the sheriff's seat, a single source as determined by the chief of police for the purchase of police vehicles, emergency equipment, and exterior striping in the amount of stripping or striping? Striping?
Stripes.
Okay. Amount of $130,233.28 to be funded by the equitable sharing account and/or impact fees, provided for effective date, mayor and city commission.
Mr.
Go ahead,
Mayor,
Chief.
Commissioners, we have all gotten used to, before the Ford Crown Victoria, Ford stopped making it. Now, everybody had changed over to the Ford Taurus, which is mostly what we have on the fleet now. Ford's gonna stop making that too. So we're having to go to Dodges. It's been in the news, they're not, Ford and Chevy are gonna stop making a lot of cars. They're gonna make SUVs, they're gonna make crossovers, they're gonna make trucks, because that's what apparently people want. Excuse me. So we went to the Florida Sheriff's bid and found not only is the Chrysler less expensive, the county uses them quite a bit, and in the research that we have done, the administration's done, they're pretty happy with it. We're going to be using the same striping company. That way we don't have to go through retooling, which would be more expensive. They know what we have. We got to get it from them, and the people that do all of our lights and sirens, we're going with the same company. So again, it's all going to come out of, I believe we're going to do 3 out of equitable sharing and 1 out of impact fees. This will bring our fleet back up to the other way around? Okay. 3 out of impact fees and 1 out of equitable sharing. I apologize.
Are these going to be the same vehicles that the FHP?
Yes.
Yes, yes, the same body style. I think some of the FHPs have those V8 Hemis.
Right.
Right.
We're not getting that.
Oh.
We're getting the standard 6-cylinder engine.
Yeah.
For West Miami, we're good.
Okay.
Because of the traffic circles, we can't go that fast.
And we're getting 12 more. 10 or 12 more. You'll be fine.
But they're souped up, right? They got bigger
Yeah,
hoses,
it's
thicker
the
hoses.
police interceptor.
police
system.
Police
Okay.
interceptor.
All right.
Right.
Okay, I know we have a motion and we have a second on the table, but the rest of the agenda, it's about spending money, and I want to make sure that we spend it because we have to spend it, but perhaps for the record, you need to, if you don't mind, Chief, clarify why we need to do this, and, it's not because we want to go out and buy 3 or 4
No,
cars.
Understood. You're
Okay.
absolutely right.
If I may, one more thing, you can clarify it in your discussion.
Yes.
For the sake of the public, equitable sharing, what exactly does that mean?
Okay, equitable sharing is money that are seized mostly from drug dealers by the detective that we have detached to the DEA. And we get a portion, it's anywhere from 10 to 20% of whatever that seizure money is. So it's actually forfeited funds from drug proceeds, which are to be used for purchases such as police vehicles, equipment, and so forth.
Okay.
To your question, Mr. Mayor, the vehicles, they get traveled a lot. The mileage gets down. We discussed with Mr. Penna, sometimes they get to a point where repairs, and we've had transmissions, and we've had front-end suspension that have gone. And when you start adding up those thousands and 2,000 and 3,000, and the cars get up over 100,000 miles, it's time to replace them. They're safer for the officers. The newer the car, the more safety equipment they have, and also the warranty takes care of a lot of these problems that we encounter service-wise.
And from a safety point of view, is there like a certain mandate of in mileage or wearing or tearing, or is anything related to that?
There's, the general consensus is around 100,000 miles. The cars should be replaced, again, for efficiency, officer safety, and for mechanical breakdowns and the cost of repairs.
Okay, all right. Okay, thank you.
Yes.
So we have a motion and we have a second. Can you call the vote, please?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, Commissioner Blanes, how do you vote?
Yes.
Commissioner Blanca? Commissioner Suarez?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Rodriguez?
Yes.
Mayor Mujina?
Yes.
5-0, item passes.
Okay, before we go into the next one, I have a question for you, for the acting city manager. Okay, it's also from impact fees, and I want to clarify that for the record. Because the impact fee is a big umbrella, but are the impact fees categorized or allocated, or they need to?
Yes.
Okay, so these are police
Impact fees.
not other impact
No,
fees?
those are just for the police department.
So they need to be, is there like a time certain that the impact fee need to be also spent,
We,
otherwise? it
under our
goes-
ordinance, we have a 3-year process to commit those funds within that 3-year period.
Okay, what happened to those funds if we don't commit it?
We basically have it to return back to the developer if we don't use it.
Okay, no way. All right. Okay,
Further question, once
Yeah.
we've committed, how long do we have? Does it
that's a very
matter?
good question.
No, that doesn't matter.
So commit, and then the time to spend it indefinite.
That's correct.
Okay, that's a good question. Okay, we can go on to the next items.
Yes, item 11G, resolution of the mayor and city commission of the city of West Miami authorizing the acting city manager to execute the necessary documentation with T.Y. Lin International for preparation of a design criteria package for a proposed fitness center expansion to the recreation center located at 1700 62 Avenue of approximately 3,000 square feet, assistance in the preparation of a design-build RFP, and support in the procurement of a design-build team in the amount of $20,000 to be funded by
Impact fees.
impact fees, providing for effective date, mayor and city commission.
We have another impact fee for Parks and Recreation. As we spoke years ago, within the past 2 years, our intention to demolish the old building that's left with the weight room and the restroom facilities and build a larger gymnasium style facility, being able to house multiple activities inside and overlooking the interior of the park, which is the basketball courts and the tennis courts. We need to, again, impact fee related, we need to start the process. We have funding in our impact fee account, and this is primarily just to start the design process for the gymnasium.
I remember about 5 or 6 years ago, this was discussed before we had any of the development, and this was a possibility. And I've been thinking about this ever since, and it's been that long. And we're, it just takes a long time. But at least we're in the beginning, in the beginning process. I don't know how much longer it will take, but, it took 5, 6 years to get to this. I don't know, hopefully it takes less to actually see it built.
Do you have the motion?
No, I just wanted to say that. It
Well,
just,
no,
it just takes a long
before,
time.
before the
And
motion.
yeah, I'll make a motion. Sure.
Point of order.
Before the motion, I have some
Madam
questions.
Clerk, I made a motion.
Yes.
Duly noted.
Yes, hold on a second, really quick. Because I'm sorry, I'm an architect, I need to visualize this. So this encompasses the weight room area,
The weight room, that open terrace that we have where you do the watermelon area.
right?
We want to connect it to the existing building, so we get rid of having to go outside.
Okay.
So you'll be able to go from the Alec Carroll play area.
L
that-
shape. It's an L shape.
Correct. It's a continuation of the existing building that we have there.
Okay, but is the building gonna be knocked, well, the design, its intent is to knock down the building?
Yes.
Yes,
Okay,
that's correct.
but I remember also, are we talking about the basketball court? Because I know one time we mentioned about perhaps covering the basketball court, is that?
No,
That's
this
part of
has
our
nothing to do
No,
with
that
that.
was
No.
something else.
No, that was a pie in the sky, but anyway, I want to make sure that,
You think it too big. You think it too big.
That was a pie in the sky, yeah.
okay, all right. Okay, I just want to make sure that we're not getting the pie.
No.
Okay, because,
Second,
Point of order, Mr. Mayor, point of privilege. There are still questions on the table.
okay, you have, go ahead. Go ahead.
I agree, Mr. Commissioner, we've been talking about this for quite some time now. So I'm gonna say it now, and I said it when I met with Mr. Penna, and the mayor somewhat alluded to it at the beginning of the meeting. There's a lot of money being asked for on this agenda, to the tune of $276,000, last time I added it up. And I talked about this with Mr. Penna. So, we've waited this long. I'm not sure why the urgency now, at the end of the year, to,
When are
and
we
not,
go-
not just this one,
When
but.
are we gonna start?
But I'm saying, if we say yes to this, what, we're gonna say yes to H, I, J, K, L, M, N, all because of the same reason? Because they're all about the same.
Well, where's
So
this
it's just
money
my- it's
coming
just
from?
my concern.
Impact fee money?
That's correct.
Okay, and we got 3 years to spend it. If we don't spend it, then, we have to give it back?
I'm just.
What are we
I'm-
waiting for?
I'm concerned.
It doesn't make any sense.
I'm talking about in general, the entire thing, the $276,000.
I was sitting here 6 years ago, and we discussed this.
And I saw drawings.
to
I
me-
remember.
To me, it was a pie in the sky, and now finally it's come to fruition.
Don't we have drawings already?
We have the money.
No, we had conceptual drawings.
Right, we have conceptual drawings, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, now we finally got the development, we got the impact fee. What are we gonna use it for? Cut trees?
Again, I just don't want to, I don't want to pick and choose, we say
What are we
yes
gonna
to
use
this
it
and then
for?
all the other ones.
What are we gonna use it for? I
Okay,
mean,
okay.
My general concern is our fiscal responsibility.
This
Commissioner,
is impact fee money, it's not taxpayer money.
Commissioner, just,
there is no more
Vice-
meeting in December, no meeting in January 1st, 2nd.
Vice Mayor, just to answer your question, it's not that there's a rush to do this,
We have to do it.
but there's really, this is part of our process that we have set in this year's budget. There's nothing in this year's budget that we're not doing.
Right, we have
This,
to do it.
this is just one step of many steps to take towards that goal.
It's a very small portion of the amount of money that it's going to cost for the entire project.
That's correct. But
Okay?
you have to have plans and conceptual drawings to start.
We have drawings already.
No, we
No,
have
we don't
conceptual
have.
drawings. We have
No, let
what
me-
we
let-
wish it to look like.
Let-
I am
let-
in
let-
full agreement. I want this, just as you, Commissioner. I really, truly,
We need to
you know me,
start.
I've been on top, I've been with you the whole
We
time.
need to start.
I've been with you the whole time. I just wanted to bring the entire agenda in on this, the amount of money, that's all. With that on the table, proceed.
Mayor, may I?
Yes, yes.
We don't have the time of things in the agenda. We have the agenda to do it. This is the only meeting in December. We are canceling January 2nd. So that's why, Mr. Rodriguez, that we have to do it tonight. What is the problem?
No, we don't, correction, we don't have to do anything tonight.
We
Okay.
either vote yes or we vote no, but we have to vote on it.
No, we have, we.
Grant,
Time is not
I'm in
the- is
agreement
not
with
the
that.
Very,
discussion
very
tonight.
simple. Let's go down the line. Commissioner Rodriguez,
not in the agenda.
I
Go
I
ahead.
have the same concerns. I have the same concern. The only reason I feel a little easier is because I have further conversation with Mr. Pena. I also, one key element is before we have the early conversation, we had no answer for FEMA. Again, there's no guarantee. They say there is a month away. And that is just, it's not in writing, it's a verbal thing. So, huh?
Can we wait for FEMA money?
This is another
Well,
money. This is the
yeah.
money for, this is allocated the
We are
impact fee.
talking about in general.
This is impact fee money. We
Yeah.
can't use impact fee money to
have
pay a
nothing
debt.
to do with FEMA.
I'm talking
We-
in general, Commissioner Rodriguez said.
No,
This
no,
one
no,
is
no.
impact fee. What about the other ones?
Okay, we have to get to the other ones.
Exactly.
But we
no,
have to
no,
do
let me-
this
let-
first.
Hold on. Let's clarify that question. Okay, wait. Let's clarify that question. Because I don't want, and again, I don't want
Yes, I know.
misconceptions here. Mr. Pena, let's look at worst case scenario. Okay? FEMA doesn't pay. Can we use impact monies? Can we use impact money to pay the bank
No,
the money that, okay?
no. This year's loan money is already in the budget.
It's different, coño.
The loan,
No, no, we need to- we
we
need to-
extended the loan for another year,
My God.
and the interest on that is $3,000 a month, and we have that budgeted in this year's general fund budget.
Okay, so my question, it goes back to, because clarifying what Commissioner Blanca says. I had the same concern, and I had the misconception that you could take, let's say we don't spend this money in design fees, police cars, or whatever, we can take that money and pay back FEMA.
No.
Okay. I want that in the record.
Well, that's
Mayor, may I
that's
c-
self-evident. Why are we
Commissioner-
arguing this?
Mayor, may I?
No, we're not
We're beating
arguing.
a dead horse.
Mayor,
Everybody knows you can't pay a debt with impact fee.
May I-
But it can be used for what we want it
You-
for.
you- Commissioner,
Okay, we are talking in general.
Well, I think we're wasting time.
Commissioner, you'll be surprised how many people might think so. So that's why I want
Well,
to clarify
I'm on the assumption
on the
that we're
record.
on the same page.
May I
Yes.
clarify
Yes.
what Commissioner Blanes said? FEMA money is to pay the bank. They're already working on that. It's different. This money per impact fee is for capital improvement, parks, police, exclusive for these things. And all these expenses that are here tonight are for impact fee.
I know that.
But I don't know.
Correction,
Apparently, Commissioner Rodriguez
correct,
knows.
correction, with all due respect, Commissioner. I knew that very
Well,
well.
why you
I
asking
was
things?
not questioning, I did not
You're wasting
question.
time here.
And I'm sorry to say, I am not. I am sure there are residents who are concerned about how we're spending
Yes.
their money, that we needed to clarify this in public for everyone. I knew exactly
Well,
what impact fees were
right
and how they
now,
could be spent.
we
So
clarified
it
to the
was
public.
not I who I was concerned
All
about.
right.
Vice Mayor, you're right. We need to be transparent. That's
Go
why I
ahead.
asked those questions.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Okay. All right. So let's, listen, instead of arguing, let's go, this is a democracy, let's go down the line, each item, let's read it into the record. I believe we were discussing,
G.
G, okay. So, very simple. $20,000 for design fee, but not only for design fee, this is for preparation of a package. Again, perhaps the engineer can clarify this. Because there are drawings, okay, and there's this package. Are they similar or are they different?
Well, as I stated in my report, what we're doing is preparing a design criteria package. We're gonna follow the same procurement that we did follow for the Public Works facility, which, as I said, worked out pretty well. And what that entails is essentially taking the concept that you've already seen, developing it to about a 30% design, which means that we'll have more structural drawings, how we intend to do the structure, how we intend to do all the mechanical systems, the plumbing, the electrical, the building itself. We basically take the concept and just develop it a little further, but we don't do the full design. So we do about a 30% design. That's why it's only $20,000. The full design was $86,000, $90,000, something like that. So we're doing a condensed design, right? We take that package, we put it into a bid. Essentially, we prepare an RFP, and in that RFP, we call for a design builder, a design build team. And that design build team will take that concept, the 30% design, take it to full design, permit it, and then construct the project. That's how we did the Public Works facility. So we're preparing design criteria package, which includes a 30% set of drawings, all the bid documents, and in those bid documents, we prescribe the procurement process, how it's awarded. It's not a typical award like we would do, just a street project or something where you just bid it out, you get a price and you award it. In a design build, it's a little more complex because you have to basically grade the team on qualifications first, and then a price. So it's basically a best value type of thing. You're getting the best value team, the most qualified team, and then the least price. Sometimes the lowest price team is not the winner because they're not qualified. So it's a different process than a typical bid. That hence the fee that we have to prepare that whole package. And we're doing that approach for both the fitness center as well as the addition here at City Hall for the police department.
Okay. Thank you. So I have, somebody made a motion, I believe.
Second.
Okay, I had a motion from Commissioner Blanes and second by Commissioner Suarez. Can you call the vote, please?
Yes, Mr. Mayor. Commissioner Blanca, how do you vote? Commissioner Blanes?
Yes.
Commissioner Suarez?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Rodriguez?
No.
Mayor Mujina?
Yes.
4-1, item passes.
Okay, next item.
Item 11H, resolution of the mayor and city commission of the city of West Miami authorizing the acting city manager to execute the necessary documentation with T.Y. Lin International for preparation of a design criteria package for a proposed City of West Miami Police Department second-story addition at City Hall, 3,000 square feet, assistance in the preparation of the design build RFP, and support in the procurement of a design build team in the amount of $20,000 to be funded by
Impact fees.
impact fees, providing for effective date, mayor and city commission.
Okay.
Again, Mayor, you have a rendering of what was proposed for the addition to the police department. After that, many years have passed. I think, like Mr. Blanes says, like 5 years have passed. During the last hurricane, Hurricane Irma, every time there's a hurricane that occurs, FEMA comes back, and a percentage of that total cost of what that hurricane impacted the county is given back to the cities and the county through the county. And that's called HMGP money, hazard mitigation money. And it's basically to upgrade your buildings so that the next time it comes around, you don't have the same problems of not being able to house your police force or a shelter or this building not to have impact windows, stuff like that. We are in the, we have for the past 5 years, we've added that police station addition to the HMGP money, and once FEMA decides to award that amount, it could be in the millions of dollars, almost close to $500 million. And then every project that's on that list, depending on whether you're ready to go, gets funded. In order to for when they say ready to go, they mean they want plans on shelf. You're not going to start the process of either designing it, or you're not going to start the process of doing the plans. They want you to have those plans on shelf, ready to go with the money that they're going to give you. This is for that purpose, to start the process in order to get to those plans. We are already in the running. We're at number 85 in the list of projects to be funded. So if we're not ready, they will just pass on by.
Question, is the rendering that was provided before sufficient, or do we need a design package like this one?
The same, we need to start a design package to have plans on shelf.
Okay.
Yeah, the concept that has been, floating around for the last few years is just that. It's a concept of the floor plan, so we do have to develop it a little further with respect to the structure and how we're gonna tie in and even, all the systems that we're gonna have to coordinate with the existing building. Yeah, being that it's on an existing building, it's even kind of more complex because we have to make sure that everything's gonna work before we let it out for a design build package, so. It's actually more complex than the fitness center, but we did put the same fee on both, and just to.
I have thank you. I have a question for the chief. Chief, from let me see how I phrase this question. I don't want to stick my foot in my mouth. Is there, and pardon my ignorance, is there some kind of review by authority having jurisdiction into how police departments are standardized based on the city size or the number of people? And I mean, is that, the reason I'm asking you this question, very simple. It's very simple. As I'm concerned about money, and I want to make sure that the money is well spent, not only in our eyes, but on the eyes of the residents. And one thing that I would say, I never cross the line, because I'll give you an example. Some time ago, I was hired to do a job, and they wanted me to fight with the fire department issues of life safety. And I just turned around to the person that hired me and said, I just want to ask you one question. How much is a life worth? Okay? Correct. So, perhaps, hold on. I'm here. I have the table.
I'm getting really confused here.
Why?
Okay, I'm getting really confused because she's concerned about how we're spending the money. You're concerned about how we're spending the money.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
But that should be everybody's concern.
It is. It is. And believe me, it's a big concern of mine. But this is precisely earmarked money that is called impact fees. And it can only be utilized for certain instances like these. Mm-hmm. If the commissioner has a better idea how we can spend that money, why don't you say so?
No,
because you voted no, because you must know something that I don't.
Wait. We can't go
and
back.
And now you're talking about being careful how we spend the money. How are we going to spend impact fee money? I mean, enlighten me. Because I'm getting really confused because if we don't do this, we don't score a run. If we don't get to first base, we don't get to second, we don't get to third. This has to happen first. And if we don't do this, it's never going to happen. We'll be here for another 6 years and nothing will happen. So do you think that we should spend the money in some other way better?
Commissioner.
Please tell me, because I'll vote with you.
Commissioner.
Am I making any sense here?
Yeah, absolutely. But I'll tell you. I'll tell you what this is. I'll tell you what this is. Okay. When you sit in this table, you represent the citizen of the city of West Miami, and you have to be transparent. And what it might be apparent to you, you have the knowledge. And you have the privilege of being sitting here for many, many years, and you have the history. And I know the history, and you know the history. But there's people out there moving to the city of West Miami every day that don't know the history. and they need to know how we spend the money, and we gotta be careful about how we explain it. So that's why, I'll give you an example, and this is not secret. I ask, and I was taught by one of the best attorneys. I ask questions that I know the answer. You know why? Because you need to be transparent. This is being televised. Unfortunately, we only have one person in the audience today, but I wish we had more. So
But it doesn't-
let's not get emotional about it. Let's get, listen.
I'm not getting emotional. It just doesn't.
No, you are.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't make any sense, the type of argument that we're having.
It makes sense.
doesn't at all. You're talking about not being transparent. How can we not be transparent? We're on the air. We're talking about.
Commissioner Blanes, one moment, please. What the mayor said is this: we have to explain the viewers
Absolutely.
that the impact fees of these new buildings are hundreds of thousands of dollars. These new buildings, the new apartments, pay through $200,000, $300,000 in impact fee. Sometimes $500,000. How much
You're
payment?
talking
Wait.
You're talking with the assumption that we're keeping something here from the public. We're not.
Blanes,
We're governing. That's
Wait,
why
wait,
we
wait,
get
wait.
voted
No, no.
and elected.
Listen,
to
listen.
be here.
I call the table.
You
Let's stop the
let
discussion.
me
This is
talk.
very frustrating.
No,
No, it is not.
What the mayor said is okay. We explain the viewers that the money we are spending here tonight is not the taxpayer money. It's what we call about the impact fee is the impact fee is the money that the new builders, when they make a big building like you see around the city in the commercial area, they have to pay an impact fee. That impact fee is used for parks, for police, for capital improvement in our buildings. It has to be by law spent in all these things. That's why when we are spending this money, is from that impact fee. It's not for the taxpayers' money. That's the explanation. It's clear?
Yes, absolutely.
Thank you.
Okay.
Sit down, Commissioner. It's already explained. It's already explained. I think
Yeah.
the people understood me.
Drink some water. That will really help.
That's it.
And do you have any more pastelitos for our Commissioner
Plenty.
Blanes?
We
He
have
doesn't
plenty.
need any more sugar, no more sugar.
No, no more sugar.
I'm
No more
just
sugar.
frustrated because we're going around and we're
No,
chasing
we're
our
not.
tail.
We're not. We're
yes,
not.
we are.
It's
Okay,
clear
can
now.
you, listen,
I think we're being
listen.
ridiculous.
Listen, listen.
It's clear
I've
now.
been kind enough, but I'm the mayor. Okay, yeah, that's it. Okay, Chief.
Your question, sir.
Chief, my question was very simple. Life safety, requirements, et cetera. you know,
Accreditations.
Statistically, Mr. Mayor, the
I don't want to say
average-
that the police department facility. No, I'm not going to say that. It's a piece of. We need to bring it to today's.
We've been
days.
putting Band-Aids on it.
Yeah, we've been putting Band-Aids.
Yeah.
Okay.
I make a motion.
Second,
All right. Thank you, sir. So there's a motion and there's a second. Can you call the vote, please?
Yes, Mr. Mayor. Commissioner Blanes, how do you
Yes.
vote? Commissioner Suarez?
yes.
Commissioner Blanca?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Rodriguez?
Hold on to your chair, Commissioner Blanes.
Huh?
Hold on to your chair.
You vote?
Yeah, I voted.
Hold on to your chair.
Oh,
No.
Mayor
Keep
Mujina?
going.
Okay, next item. Oh,
Mayor Mujina?
no,
how
I
do you
vote yes.
No, I
For
vote yes.
one.
I mean, which one is?
My vote is yes.
4-1, item passes. Item 11I,
Actually, in the agenda also, it has to be corrected. It says $20 or 20,000. I don't know. There's 1 0 missing,
yes.
Why do you have to bring that up?
just in case.
Transparency.
We want the actual funding there.
I was happy with that amount of money.
20,000, yes. Item 11I, resolution of the mayor and city commission of the city of West Miami authorizing the acting city manager to execute the necessary documentation with Two Lane International for preparation and construction inspection services for bathroom construction and passport office expansion at the city of West Miami in the amount of $21,472 to be funded by
Impact fees.
impact fees, providing for effective date, mayor and city commission.
Mr. Mayor, Commissioners, again, as I explained earlier, this item deals with the expansion of the City Hall building to increase the area for the front office for passport services, and it also goes into remodeling the existing bathrooms that we have from the 1950s along the staircase here. The plans are already done. They've been constructed, and they've been reviewed and processed by everybody, Miami-Dade County, Fire and Derm, us, and they're just sitting there on a shelf. This year, in the budget that we have here, we have allocations of funding for that construction. However, in order to be able to do the construction, we need a contractor. So we need to prepare this package to go out to bid and get the successful bidder for the construction of this phase of the project.
Well, hold on a second. I got a little confused here. This, okay. So this is gonna come out as a, okay, a
This is a
design,
conventional.
design
conventional-
criteria,
No,
No,
this
this is
has been
conventional. It's
designed
already done.
Yeah.
Remember, we did this with, the plans were done for this section was done by McCarty Architecture a couple of years ago when my building was being built.
okay.
So the design's done, so it's
Yeah.
basically putting the bid package together for the RFP, and we're also, as part of this fee, is the construction administration of the project.
Exactly.
Once there's a
Okay,
contractor
okay.
selected.
Understood, understood. Okay, and this is, I mean, the passport is way overdue. The bathrooms, I mean, come on, they're, we should be ashamed. Anyway, all right,
Motion?
okay. I need a second.
Second.
Can you call the vote?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, Commissioner Blanca, how do you vote? Commissioner Blanes?
Yes.
Commissioner Suarez?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Rodriguez?
No.
Mayor Mujina?
Okay, I vote yes.
4-1, item passes. Next item, item 11J, resolution of the mayor and city commission of the city of West Miami authorizing the acting city manager to execute the necessary documentation with Two Lane International for professional engineering services for the preparation of construction documents consisting of drainage improvement project proposal for professional design and CEI engineering services in the amount of $29,400 to be funded by
Impact fees.
Impact
I'm
fees?
sorry, no, not
No.
impact fees, surtax.
surtax, providing for effective date. Mayor and City Commission.
Again, this is the,
This is the intersection of Southwest 57th Avenue and 12th Street
okay,
for the continuous flooding that we have there continuously, and also for the street of Southwest 13th Street between 65th and 66th to improve the drainage in that area since it got left out during the initial phase.
okay.
Well, yes, we'll be providing in this, under this scope of services, the turnkey package from the design services, assisting the city with the bid documents, bidding it, and doing the construction administration, in this case, the CEI. So, well, this is for the entire process.
Is that what the CEI stands for?
Yeah, we, typically CEI is what you call it for roadway projects, but it's
Okay.
construction administration, yeah.
Okay,
So Frankie, this encompasses everything we will owe you for this project.
That's it, yes.
In
From
addition to
soup
that, we
to
have to
nuts.
pay for the actual work,
You gotta pay,
obviously, to
yeah,
be done.
we're gonna
But
bid-
that's not
yeah.
to you.
No, no.
Okay.
no, the actual work has to be done by,
Right, okay.
by a construction
Right,
company.
By
okay.
the successful bidder.
So we'll, basically, we'll, if this passes, we'll start the design, we'll do the design, we'll put that out to bid. The contractor will get on board, it'll be before you to award the contract to the contractor, and then we'll administer the construction and oversee the inspections and all that. And that's all in that fee, there's nothing else.
This is our fee, your fee from start to finish for this
Yeah.
project, okay.
Okay, any further questions?
This is one of the last, in that area is one of the last problems we have, right?
Yes.
Motion.
Second,
Okay, call the vote.
Yes, Commissioner Blanca, how do you vote? Commissioner Blanca?
Yes.
Okay. Commissioner Suarez?
yes.
Commissioner Blanes?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Rodriguez?
Yes.
Mayor Mujina?
Yes.
5-0, item passes. Item 11K, resolution of the mayor and city commission of the city of West Miami authorizing the acting city manager to execute that certain contract with Summer Systems, Inc. in the amount of $31,598.61 to correct compliance deficiencies as noted at an audit by Florida Department of Law Enforcement, FDLE, to be funded by
This is from Equitable Sharing? Impact fee.
impact fees, providing for effective date, mayor and city commission.
Can somebody explain this to me, please?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, back in 2008, we bought 2 servers at that time, one for City Hall, one for the Police Department. Both have now 10 years on them. The one for the City Hall, if you recall, recently crashed, and were able to restore it. And we also have the ability, in order not to, in case we lose it again, to have the service in the cloud. The same applies for the Police Department. That one's 10 years old. It hasn't crashed, but it can. But they can't go to the cloud. FDLE does not allow them to go to the cloud. So we have to replace the system and install all the programming that goes with that system.
Okay. And this is single source, or this is
Summer Systems, Mr. Mayor, is who we utilize. He has our IT contract, whatever Mr. Q can't do, which he can't allot with FDLE requirements, Summer Systems does for us. He's the one, that company's the one that installed our server initially, and we use USA software for report writing, ticket writing, and so forth. And he's familiar with bundling all these packages together, and so for all intents and purposes, it is single source.
and the reason we can't go to the cloud is because of privacy issues?
Exactly. Security, FBI does not
Security.
allow it in FDLE.
Let me ask you, so the police department will have their own service?
They're our own server, yes. We're required to have our own server by FDLE.
Motion.
Okay, okay, so I have a first and a second. Call the vote, please.
Yes. Commissioner Suarez, how do you vote?
Yes.
Commissioner Blanca?
Yes.
Commissioner Blanes?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Rodriguez?
Yes.
Mayor Mujina?
Yes.
5-0, item passes. Item 11L, resolution of the mayor and city commission of the city of West Miami authorizing the acting city manager to enter into an agreement with WL Trucking and Engineering, Inc. for the repair of potholes, re-milling, and laying of asphalt at the intersection of 1401 Southwest 58th Avenue in the amount of $8,500 of an emergency basis to be funded by
A surtax.
surtax, providing for effective date, mayor and city commission.
Again, the agenda should read Southwest 14th Street and 58th Avenue, not an address specific.
What will be the coverage on square foot for this, more or less? You know?
I don't know if it's listed on the item. But basically,
What is the question?
what is the amount of square feet covered under the proposal?
I believe-
It is
400
somewhere.
linear square feet.
It's
I
somewhere.
believe it was like 4,000 something,
4,500 square
4,500.
feet.
Okay,
so it's less than $2, right?
that's correct. And then there's also thermoplastic painting, striping, and reflectors that we have to install after that's done. That's all included in the $8,500 price. Basically, when we did that traffic circle, when we did all traffic circles, we used the existing surfaces in order to save money at that time. However, this intersection is one of the areas that even during the sewer projects, they didn't get overlaid. So it's one of the oldest intersections that we have. And for that matter, you've seen it, and we've had resident complaints where
Right.
we lose the street because there's really no base of asphalt. The asphalt is very
Right.
thin at that area.
That's the
So-
one that I saw the picture with the potholes.
Correct. So
Okay.
this one, this will essentially strip all the asphalt from the inside the area of the circle and then repave the whole area with new asphalt and new thermal striping and new reflectors.
Okay.
By the way, this is a competitive bidding. There was, I understand that there were more than one bidder. Is that correct?
That's correct. We had WL Trucking as one bid, 8,500, and then we also solicited a bid from the gentleman that did the work at Cooper Park for the asphalt trail, and his was at R.J. Spencer, which his was, I believe, was at $11,500.
Mr. Mayor, just a point of clarification on what the attorney just said. I want to be sure it's correct. I'm looking at the supporting documentation, the bid from R.J. Spencer. It's titled Reference Cooper Park Roundabout. This has nothing to do with Cooper Park, so.
No,
Can we accept this bid, can we accept this supporting documentation as written?
Yes, and I'll explain to you why he named it that way. The day that I asked him for the proposal, we were actually doing the pre-construction for the Cooper Park, and since we were standing right there just south of the circle, he, I guess, for his memory's sake, he named it Cooper Park Traffic Circle, but
I know, but for the sake of the competitive bid, I don't want it to come back to haunt us. It
That would
does
be
not say
corrected
the
because that was a
proper project
typographical
name
error.
on
I
it.
called the manager the same question because it was confusing to me why there was two different quotes
Right.
for two different jobs
Right.
that had nothing to do one with the other. So the quote that we're talking about is the quote for the traffic circle, and the $1,500 is something that it should be in another page, in another proposal, and not this one. So that is an error that will be corrected by the vendor.
So we can legally accept this supporting documentation and proceed with the vote? Even though it's a little bit conflicting?
It was very confusing to me also, see, because it says Cooper Park Runabout,
Right.
and that was not
My
what I was
question
talking about.
My
So,
question exactly. So can we proceed with a vote using this supporting documentation?
No, that would be corrected. Is that correct?
Yes.
Mr. Penna? Okay. So we can strike Cooper Park Runabout out
Okay.
at this point. And also, we're going to request that the vendor has the $1,500 cost of the paving area, 1 inch and so on and so forth, in another bid that had nothing to do with this.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
I got also confused, so we're
Okay, any further questions? Okay, need a motion?
Motion.
Second?
Call the vote?
Commissioner Blanca, how do you vote? Commissioner Suarez?
Yes.
Commissioner Blanes?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Rodriguez?
Yes.
Mayor Mujina?
Yes.
5-0, item passes. Item 11M, resolution of the Mayor and City Commission of the City of West Miami authorizing the acting city manager to enter into a change order of prior contracts with Desmar Plumbing Contractors to complete repairs to the City of West Miami Recreation Center site, lift station number 4, in the amount of $24,836 to be funded from the 2018-19, it's a typo there, sanitary sewer system budget repair account as approved through city budget, providing for effective date, Mayor and City Commission.
Just a question, why is a change order?
Basically, Mr. Mayor, we had the lift station number 4, which is a sewer station in front of the rec center. We totally reconstructed that lift station without having to ask T.Y. Lin for plans or without having to redesign the whole station, just using the original plans from the station and replacing all the equipment in it to bring it up to code and bring it up to date because it was actually 20-something years old. We replaced the pumps, we replaced the piping, we replaced the electricity outlets inside there, the lighting, and now what's left to be replaced is the main panel that controls the pump system. We are making it compatible to all our other stations, and because it's inside that station, the humidity generated underground is too much, and it actually decays the operating control panel. This will bring the control panel up top, exposed to the ambient air, and in a stainless steel enclosure as we have all the other ones, and it makes it easier for maintenance purposes, and also it replaces the whole system with a brand-new system. The existing panel is 20-something years old, and it does have its wear and tear and sections that need to be replaced.
So the existing panel is in the pit?
Yes.
Wow. Okay, I didn't know that. Okay, now when we put it outside, I mean, how visible is it gonna be?
It's visible, but yet it's in a enclosed, just like we have one on 20th Street, next to the new buildings. We have one on 8th Street next to the Covadonga, and we have one in front of Mr. Commissioner Blanes' house.
Just make sure they do the unit struts a little nicer, that's all.
No, it's actually a self-contained unit.
Oh, it's
Yeah,
Yeah, no, but don't they need unit struts to,
on the back of it.
on the back of it
Yeah.
to raise in a position? Okay,
Yeah. We usually put hedges or something back there.
okay. Yeah, especially that one, because that one is the,
Well, this one, it shouldn't be visible because you have a perimeter wall that goes around the building.
okay. Okay, so it's a change order to that particular job, okay.
Yes.
Now I understand. And that's the price. We can negotiate the price?
That's the cheapest that we've been able to find it.
Okay.
All right.
Mr. Penna, can I ask if you know, what is our current sanitary source system account have in it? Like, are we depleting it by this, or like, how much money do we have in that account?
Combined within the two systems, we have $50,000.
So we're taking 50%, okay.
Yes.
But this is funded from this was part of the budget,
The operating account.
okay,
The sewer system operating account,
okay.
repair account.
No further question on my behalf, anybody, any further question?
Motion.
Second.
Okay, call the vote.
Commissioner Blanca, how do you vote? Commissioner Suarez?
Yes.
Commissioner Blanes?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Rodriguez?
Yes.
Mayor Mujina?
Yes,
5-0, item passes.
thank you. Next item,
Item 11N, resolution of the mayor and city commission of the city of West Miami authorizing the acting city manager the expenditure of $10,000 from park impact fees to be used as a match for right-of-way trees with the Miami-Dade County Need Street Miami matching grant, providing for effective date, mayor and city commission.
Again, Mr. Mayor, this is part of the cycle from Miami-Dade County for their Neat Streets Miami Million Tree Miami. Every year they put out grants, matching grants, and we have made a pledge to Tree City USA that we will fund tree placements in the right-of-ways for the amount of $10,000 every year, and this is for us to be able to leverage it and get $20,000.
okay, will this be for replacement, or this will be placement?
This is new installation and replacements.
New installation or replacement?
How many trees, I'm sorry, how many trees we are going to get?
Usually for $20,000, we get anywhere from 29 to 30 trees, depending on the species and what they're costing now.
Already planted?
Yes. They run anywhere from $550 to $750.
Motion.
Okay,
Second.
I got it first and a second. Call the vote?
Yes, Commissioner Blanca, how do you vote? Commissioner Blanes?
Yes.
Commissioner Suarez?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Rodriguez?
No,
No? Mayor Mujina?
Yes.
4-1, item passes.
Next item?
Item 11O, request for recognition to Publix employees by Mayor Mujina.
Thank you. It is customary for people to complain when things don't get done correctly, and that's so easy. But it's very hard to recognize people when they do a great job. And my personal experience, and this is an experience that I have shared with many people, there's actually 3 people that call my attention in the Publix. One is Freddie Casanova, the manager, very helpful, and he goes out to people, whatever you need. I'm sure that you ask questions and say, where can I find coffee? And a lot of people will tell you, go to aisle 10, whatever, turn. This manager will take you to where the coffee is, okay? And things like that. The other one is, I'm sorry to say, but for many, many years, I used to go to the CVS on 64th and great service. But after the CVS moved to 57, unfortunately, the service has not been the same. When I went to Publix and I spoke to Jorge Prado, he's the manager in the pharmacy, very helpful. You typically get okay, you want to buy the prescriptions here. Okay, well, you need to call the doctor. You need to do this. In other words, you need to do this. You need to do that. When you go there, Jorge Prado will take care of everything. He will call the doctor. He will call the other pharmacy. He will, if he doesn't have the medicine there, he will call other places, and they will even bring it to the pharmacy. And I've seen this again, and I have shared this story with other people. So that's another person I want to recognize. And then somebody that is a very simple person. His name is Kiko, Enrique Calderin. Kiko is in the produce section. This gentleman gets up at 5 o'clock in the morning for many, many years. You probably know him. He worked at Disco Fish, and the guy just came from Cuba a few years ago. Him and his wife are saving money to buy a house. He works at Disco Fish, and during that time, he went and spoke to Freddie every week to get a job at Publix. And he finally got the job at Publix. Well, this guy wakes up at 5 o'clock in the morning, and he goes to work in Publix. He works there till about 1 o'clock. He goes home, takes a shower, and by 3 o'clock, he's working at the restaurant till 10, 11 o'clock. Okay? Very helpful. Every time you ask him a question, he will go, and his English is very limited, but, he will go and he will take you to wherever. And currently, he's working at Covadonga and Publix.
Also?
Yes. No longer working at Disco Fish. But these 3 individuals, and this is across, these are the ones that have called my attention, but this Publix and the people that work at Publix are being, they're great service to the city and to the neighbors, City of Coral Gables too. So I'm here requesting, a recognition for these 3 individuals, and that's the reason. And I'm sorry I was so long-winded, but I think they deserve that and more. So,
Mr. Mayor, if I may, I wholeheartedly agree with you. That Publix saying, Publix where shopping is a pleasure, and I call it our Publix, every person in there embodies and owns that saying, because there is not one time that I go in there that everyone, the people you've mentioned, everyone you deal with is extremely helpful, extremely professional, extremely polite, and they all do go out of their way. So I wholeheartedly agree with your recommendation here.
thank you. So all I'm asking is your blessing for this.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, all in
Yes.
favor say aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Uh,
Next item.
May I?
Yes.
May
Yeah.
I?
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Because I just want to present to you, to Mayor and the Commissioners and Vice Mayor, I'm pretty sure the attorney and the police department knows I'm trying to get recognition for Julio Gonzalez Rebul. Julio Gonzalez Rebul he was a president of the Bay of Pigs Invasion Brigade 2506, and is a family very well recognized in our community. And he's going to have like a farewell. He's very sick. And I will ask this commission if we can approve a recognition for him for the years he has been in this city doing good things. He used to have a public relation company, and he make a public relation for Jackson Memorial Hospital and for many other institutions. So I just want the blessing of this commission to make a recognition for him.
You got it?
Yes.
On my behalf, yes.
Yes.
I'm pretty sure the mayor agree with me that, because Julio was a good friend of you too.
Yes, sir. And I should say that whatever we do, we better do it in a hurry.
Yes.
We had the opportunity, Julio and I knew each other since childhood. We used to go out to a beach resort by the name of Tarará when we were in the teens. And I understand that the fellow Tararenses had a luncheon with him yesterday, and I think that it better be sooner than later
Yeah.
because of his health issues.
Okay. So, all in favor, say aye.
Aye. With an expedite, Madam Clerk.
Excuse me, Commissioner Blanca, do you leaving?
No, I'm looking for my key.
Oh, I'm sorry, because Mayor, may I?
We got one
We
more
have
item.
another
We
item.
still have item
The
P.
last item, item 11P, request to cancel the January 2nd, 2018 regular city commission meeting.
Yeah, it makes sense. I mean, the second, I mean,
I agree.
okay. With the caveat that, I mean, if any items, is there anything on the horizon that might come up that need attention? Do you
Don't
see?
think so. You took care of everything tonight.
Okay,
We could
all
start
Good, that's
working
why
on
we did
in January.
Okay, all right.
All right.
So, need a motion?
Motion,
Okay,
second.
all in favor, say
Wait,
aye.
wait, wait.
Aye.
How about the good of the order?
No, no.
No,
No,
to cancel the meeting.
I'm sorry.
Okay,
Okay.
12.
Now- Yes, now it's the good of the order.
Good of the
item
order.
12.
Okay, yeah, I got something.
yes.
So do I.
I think that we should congratulate our Commissioner Rebecca Sosa. She was appointed Vice Chair of Miami-Dade County Commission. So I think that we should maybe write a nice letter for her and all sign it. So if you all agree, I think that she...
Congratulations to
Good
the
idea.
commission if she,
Yeah.
Congratulations, Commissioner.
congratulations if she's watching them.
And I have one thing, Mr. Mayor.
I'm not done.
Oh, sorry.
I got
Sorry,
something else.
sorry.
I'm sorry. Something was said here that was, I'm not gonna say disturbing, but I'll say the word again. It was ridiculous. And something, a couple of us mentioned something about not being transparent. And you know
Please.
what? It doesn't even pass through my mind sitting here and not being transparent. The fact that we need to question each other in that regard, it's almost insulting to me. And for the record, if there's a commissioner that doesn't agree with another commissioner, and that is normal, I encourage that. But if they do have a better idea or a better course of action, I think it's their duty to talk about it and to tell us about it and to educate us. Because, you know, we all sit here and we act in good faith and we make decisions for the progress of this city and for the residents of this city. So if we're making a decision and somehow one of us thinks that maybe we should not proceed, then it's their duty and responsibility to talk about it and to say why. You know, to come up with an argument. I mean, that's what we're here for, to argue and to determine what is best. And you know what? All the decisions that I made here, sitting here, you know what? I believe in my heart that, you know what? I made the best decision possible.
Thank you.
So when there isn't one of us that agrees I think they need to make an argument. There might be something that I don't know that they know.
Mayor,
Keep it in
you
mind for
finish?
next time,
Did you
next year,
finish?
for next
I
year.
have,
I was next, sir.
Yes.
oh, you have another question?
Not a
Please,
question.
Do the 20
for a good
questions
deal.
you have left.
And I'm going to go ahead and say what I was going to say, despite what my colleague has just said. I was going, and by the way, the person you're referring to was me, so let me take ownership of your comments. Anyway, what I was going to say is that I am very proud and privileged to be here and know that we can agree to disagree and that we can continue forward and do the right thing and not be worried about our vote upsetting one to the point of not being able to work together. So I am very proud that we are able to continue working together despite some things we might not agree on. And we all work together for the betterment of our city. So with that said, Commissioner, I know we disagreed on some things, but I know that doesn't affect how you and I will continue working together.
Mayor, the good of the order, have
Absolutely,
the last thing to
absolutely.
do.
My whole point is that we need to discuss, we need to have
Absolutely,
an
and we do.
argument. And
And
we
we-
didn't.
We did.
No, we
I
didn't.
prefaced my vote.
Can we leave for next year?
Yeah.
Can we, this is December, this is the last meeting. I remember last meeting, somebody wanted to do the same thing. I don't
Yes,
remember who.
we did. You
So-
are
so-
you are
so this
correct.
December-
You are correct.
What are these for?
Yes, sir. You have the table.
These, we need Mr. Q comes out, Planes, to take a picture for because the
And what is-
2018,
What is this?
this is the 50th anniversary of Home Rule.
Home rules,
So
okay.
I just ask, take a
Mis-
picture of
Mr.
the
Q.
commission. Commissioner Blanes.
Are we sitting or
No,
standing?
take a
But-
picture of us. Keep for the record.
Commissioner,
We celebrate the 50th anniversary.
Commissioner Blanes, should I refuse to do this or no?
It's up to you.
Muiña, put the 50 of the front, okay. Wait, Quintana, wait.
Oh, we say?
Wait for the whole
Oh,
commission.
we're not standing up?
Sit down, sit down.
Why aren't we standing up?
No, this is fine, this is fine.
Okay, hold on.
We working, we sitting, working.
Working hard.
Oh, it's backwards.
No, they both have
No, they're all the
50.
same. It's the
It
same.
says 50 on both.
50.
Yeah, it's reversible.
All right,
Mine doesn't fit because of my hair, but that's okay.
all right. Look to the camera, please.
Wait, make sure mine's not falling back. Hold on.
I want to see that photo.
Should we
Thank
sing?
you.
Should we sing?
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Now we're gonna
Now
do some
we'll
tap
put the
dancing.
record. We celebrate the 50th anniversary.
Mayor, just one more thing for the,
Oh, okay, go ahead.
The meeting's over, sir.
is it? Okay.
No, it's not
It doesn't
over.
have to
It's
be
not
on the
over.
record, it doesn't
I haven't
matter.
say adjourned yet.
It's over.
Go ahead. No, it's not. I haven't say adjourned yet.
Just
Go
to thank you for 2018, great experience. Hopefully 2019 will be more exciting.
I
And Merry Christmas and Happy New Year to
I don't know
all.
how we're gonna top it, but
know how we're
anyway,
gonna
we'll
top
try. We'll try.
Better than this.
We're gonna start with a bang.
We always do with a bang.
And
Okay. Motion to adjourn. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Good night.